Hello. Welcome back. Before we begin, I would like to give a huge thank you to all of my active patron members. FanDLN, Envious Nova, Goblin, Rachel C, Bedtime, Estella, Spam Juniper Turn, Cloaked Pelt 29, Aylin, Aaron Tash, Tess, Gwendolyn Adamsbone, Azura Akamor, Leonardo Preciosa, Emma, Knock on Wood, Nobody at All, Agatha, Ragecat 888, Amy Wires, The Octa Hat, Evelyn Puppy, D-Zib, Roseboud, Nunberg, Antari Akiyama, Sarha Smith, Valkyr Tenno, Galahad, Selgor Agaris, Marissa Kursidasame, Benifer the Potato, Genetic Zero, CT Mackin, Songbird, Kyra, Void Dweller, Teethwear 5, Morning Owlet, Elster's Shiny Things, Jessica, Amy Olgers, Tiny Portal, Chloe, Bear the Space Witch, Ellipses, CM Fireflies, Some Guy, Joanna, Indigo, Aylin, Kai, Danny Bobani, TGSTGA, Breedable Vaporeon, Eden, Mick Shepherd, Captain Aardvark 986, Lily Adams, Hazel, Kolek 92, Prophecy Fulfilled, DFA Plays, Robot Waifu, and Bloodmoth. Thank you so very much for all of your support. It truly means the universe to me. If you too wish to become an active patron member, please click the link in the description down below to visit the Patreon page. With that out of the way, hello, my fortuitous fruitcakes. Sorry. Hi, I'm back. It sure has been a bit of a doozy on my end. So how are you doing today? Have you been drinking water? Have you been making sure to stay hydrated? Have you been eating scrumptious food? I really hope you have. Right? Hello, Trainmaster. Welcome. It's so very good to see you. Hi, Wisp. Hey, Kendrick. And hello, Vermilion VA. Hello, Alice Artemis Lily. Thank you so very much for hydrating. And hello, Camilla. Hello, Simonor. Thank you so very much for the warm welcome. It truly means the universe to me. Also, you may have noticed my tail. Normally it swishes, roughly up here, I think. But now I can make it swish down here. Swish, swish. Hello. Thank you so very much. I don't quite know how to pronounce that name. I'm so terribly sorry for my absence, Trainmaster. It's been a bit of a doozy. I intended to stream a lot more over the past couple of weeks, but circumstances being what they are on my end, I kind of fell off the bandwagon. That was my fault. Honest to goodness, I should know better. Oh my goodness. But thank you so very much for the warm welcomes. Camilla says, doesn't matter how it moves as long as it stays floofy. Ah yes, it stays floofy, whether rain or shine. Mostly because when it rains, I stay indoors. Hello, Mary. Mother Mary full of grace. Happens to the best of us, unfortunately. Trainmaster says, last weekend I went rail fanning. Honest to goodness, slightly debating whether I'm gonna be going like cross-country on a train or on a plane. Because I've been on planes a lot. Like, I had a major trip to Pennsylvania that one time. That happened on Valentine's Day, as a matter of fact. And, oh my, it was one heck of a trip. It was such a long flight, too, both getting there and getting back. Oh, golly. Simonor says, is Linder a basic chocolate option? I don't know what you're referring to with a basic chocolate option, but I'm not too terribly certain about them. I remember hearing some rumors about some illicit operations going on behind the scenes, but then again, that is also due to my poor recollections, and so I'm gonna ask that you take it with a mountain of salt. I could be very wrong. Mary says, my? Graceful? Why, of course, Mary. Yellow. Yep. Kimela says, yeah, no, if you're busy with IRL stuff, we can go without a few live streams. Take care of yourself. Kimela says, are you the reason the Kit Kats are gone? I didn't eat any Kit Kats over the course of the last couple of days. I've been eating some other candies. I'm not going to tell you what they are because I don't want to give any companies any free advertisement. Capitalism can die a fiery death full of agony, for all I care. Hello, Corvus. Hello. Iwu. Hello, Fury. Hi. Mary says, ha, my aches and pains beg to differ, my daughter. Well, it is your daughter's humble opinion, Mother Mary, full of grace, that you are a lady of distinction, grace, and regal stature. Mary says Linder is really expensive. Honest to goodness, I can't remember the last time I got any of that sort of chocolate. It has been a while. I do have chocolate in stock right now. It's currently in the kitchen. And I've also got some food that I can eat during my dinners and my lunch breaks. I take a lot of lunch breaks. I've been honestly trying to work on audios, but it's been hell. It has been so hard getting motivated to actually record things. But I do have some exciting news regarding some long-awaited sequels. I have finished Dragonling Part 2. It isn't going to be a very long sequel, but it is going to be a sequel that I put a lot of hard work into. I still need to record the finale to the Yandere General, and then work on Yandere General 7 and the finale. Stars. There's just been so much work that's been sitting on my table that I've just been too depressed to work on. I'm so sorry. Indeed, indeed. Dragonling Part 2 has been finished. Train would be longer, of course, but probably more fun. More to see, at least. Indeed, indeed. I am actually starting to want to go by train more and more because I've been by plane. I want to keep both of my feet firmly on the ground if possible. Hello, Fan Provost. Indeed. Also, is this the first time you're showing up on my channel? Hello, hello, and welcome. Camilla says I don't blame you. I keep hoping this is all some strange nightmare. Yeah. I kind of feel like that one Ragatha rant in The Amazing Digital Circus. Have you seen that, by the way? I think that is an absolutely amazing animated series that Glitch has taken under its wing. Hello, Valerie Scythe. Hello, hello, and welcome to the channel. Hi. Welcome to the amazing Cutiefox channel. I'm your host, Nico the Fox. And we have a wonderful assortment of hijinks to get onto. Yeah, I was just channeling my inner Cain there for just a hair. I mean, red is a huge part of Cain's design, so I figured that I would at least try to emulate a little bit of him. Just a little. Mary says don't go by helicopter if you can avoid it. Those things are freaking noisy. Alice Artemis says, I get such bad headaches when I fly. Oh, I'm so terribly sorry. That always sucks. Valerie Sykes says, red is a good color. I'm biased because it's my favorite color. Well, I am glad that red is a part of my design in whole. I'm so sad. The artist that did this model retired. They don't do commissions anymore. They've moved on from making VTuber models at all, so getting updates to this one is going to be a little hard. If I can find another artist that will agree to do some work to update the model as the years go on, I would definitely be appreciative. Ben says name was Skeward? Camilla says, you did play a robot lesbian overlord one time. Oh, not just one time. I did so multiple times. There is a large amount of synthetic life forms on my channel. From the Kylium to the smart house that I wrote to several assortment of yandere android maids. And then, of course, there's Delphi. Something as close to Shodan / GLaDOS / Am that you can get. Hello, Kitty Campbell, and welcome. Valerie says, how much was the model? Oh, the artwork for the model, all told, cost $500. And the rigging cost an additional $500. This was way back when I had another job as well as my YouTube job. So I was able to save up a lot more, a lot faster, and effectively budget out the entire model in one go. Of course, getting alterations and additions is going to take a lot longer, seeing as I've been trying to get another job here in Arizona, and it is hell. Seriously, I thought I had like a breakthrough the other day because I had an interview at a very prestigious sort of company-ish. And they declined. They rejected. Sad fox. Good night, Wisp. Rest well. Kitty says I helped in making her persona. That is true. Vermilion says red and black is an amazing combo. I at least think so. Thank you so very much, Vermilion. Truly means the universe to me. Fury says, what about blue and green, or purple and yellow? Probably would. Camilla says, I can only imagine. My job was a pain, and it's just stocking shelves. Oh yeah, I've been there stocking shelves back when I used to work at a dollar store. Hello, Kino? Hello. Hi. Mary says, Warforged lesbian overlady for a D&D game? Maybe. Maybe. Camilla says, I only remember the trans femme one. But that's mostly personal issues. Oh yeah, I completely understand that. Being trans myself, yeah. Also, the lovely part of being trans and writing for basically all F4F audios is that all of my audios can be read as either being meant for cisgendered or transgender audiences. Even if you're just like non-binary and femme-leaning in some cases. And you don't even have to be femme-leaning all the time. My audios are for pretty much anyone who likes them. Valerie says, customer service jobs in general are yikes. Yes, especially considering at the time I was in a dollar store job in semi-rural Missouri. They don't get the whole being trans thing in Missouri. I had to deal with a fair amount of crazy customers that didn't get me. It's amazing how many people just go out of their way to be vindictive and cruel for no reason. I even had, like, a customer threaten to go after my hair with scissors. Because I like to wear my hair long, and they didn't like that I had my real name on my name tag instead of my dead name, because it's like, hey, you gotta get in trouble for that or some shit. I can't even remember his entire complaint. It's like, when are you gonna have your real name? And yeah, this is actually my real name. This is my legal name. Camilla says, I like overnights. Overnight positions can be interesting. The nightlife, was a little bit quiet. Especially considering, again, it was like semi-rural. Not a lot of people go out after dark. And those that do are definitely the assortment of characters that I don't interact with that much on a regular basis. Indeed. Indeed, indeed. Welcome home. My big sister Akira has made her appearance. For those not in the know, she has been a VA in several works that I have created as well. Especially one of the original Yandere AI series. That one also featured Bear Waifu audios and After Dark. Actually, did it feature After Dark? I don't remember if it did. Probably didn't.
No, but our other friend.
Ah yes, another friend. A delightful VTuber by the name of Songbird, who unfortunately has not been with us for some time. She lives on forever in the works that she has created, and in this work that I have that features her voice. Anytime I listen to it now, I pay my respects.
How's it going, guys?
Now you get some good rest. She does a lot of hard work. It's kind of one of the reasons why I haven't, like, requested that she join audios of late. It's because I don't want to make requests of someone who's already working so hard. I want her to rest. Oi, 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 oi. Drink some water. Camilla says, less people, less problems. Hello, Lost in Wonderland. It swishes now? Also, hey, hey. Oh, it's always swished. Valerie says, I have customers who are confused about my gender, and they get spooked when I speak. It's honestly funny. Oh yeah, I actually used that job as a method by which to voice train, because I got to speak a lot more. And people seem to also get confused when I open my mouth to speak, because I stand at roughly 6 foot, and I have a fairly, androgynous build. Whenever I'm, like, wearing my work clothes, I look fairly masculine at a distance. So when I speak and it's, hi, welcome, Did you find everything you were looking for today? Sometimes they would just tilt their head and look at me funny. Katie says, are some of your audios meant to be trans allegories, by the way? Delivery Werewolf feels like that especially. Ah, yes. Delivery Werewolf, I was definitely airing out a lot of grievances with. Yes, the werewolves are a bit of a trans allegory in that one. The way that I wrote the werewolves there could be read as slightly problematic in a couple of ways. However, I kind of feel like the bite is sort of, what's the word I'm looking for here? A placebo. That's right. The bite itself is kind of a placebo slash instigator. From what I can recall of my general thought process when writing it, I wanted to make being a werewolf kind of a... It's a thing that you are, whether you choose to embrace it or not. So yeah, the listener in that one was always, always supposed to be quote-unquote a werewolf. It's just that she needed a jumpstart of adrenaline and the introduction of the option in order for her to transform. Everyone here is cute and wonderful. Corvo says, I always love body horror and adjacent themes as a trans allegory. Oh, well, I tend to just like body horror because I like creepy things. I am a big fan of horror movies, and The Thing happens to be one of my favorites of all time. Simply because I love the concept of its alien. It's one of the reasons why I wrote not just 2 audios, but a remake of those audios, and a Patreon exclusive for it. Yeah, what if The Thing was lesbian? Believe it or not, there are a couple of audios, one of which is no longer existent on YouTube, and one that was written by another creator. Can't remember her name off the top of my head right now. Mary says, you need to take your own advice, Nico. Ma'am gets worried about you. Valerie says, it's time to drink water. Oi, Valerie, drink some water. Some water. Killa growls at Winter. Fan says, a voice train feels like a mountain from what I saw. Tried to dip in it, but it is hard to do. There is still a recording of my voice from before I started my transition. With your permission, I would definitely like to give a demonstration of that pre-transition voice.
Prepare to have your minds blown.
Hi, Akira. Yeah, this is what I sound like pre-transition about 6 years ago now, before I started my voice training. This is an example of what is possible.
1408. 1.
That's right, that's me.
Mike Enslin was still in the revolving door when he saw Olin, the manager of the Hotel Dolphin, sitting in one of the overstuffed lobby chairs.
Ta-da! That's right, Valerie. That is my pre-transition voice. That is my voice from 6 years ago. Winter says devilry.
So cute.
Witch.
But she's a cute witch. She's a cute witch.
Burn the witch.
No, don't burn. Don't burn. Mine.
Kitsune magic.
Don't burn. Mine.
But yes, it was a result of a little bit of vocal dysphoria and 6 years of continuous effort, as well as 4 years of running an ASMR channel. Believe it or not, would you like to tell the story, Akira, of the first time you heard my pre-transition voice?
I thought she was trolling.
Yep, she thought that I was pulling her leg. She's like, no way. No way is that you. And then she, like, heard a couple inflections within that audio. I was like, I can see it. Yeah, I can see it. And if I let my voice relax a little bit more, you can start to see a little bit more of the obvious sorts of points with the voice.
Oh, and at the very end.
Oh yeah, and at the very end, there's a chuckle that I give that sounds a little bit similar to what I've got now. That never went away.
It just got cuter.
Yeah, the voice got higher. I've been training it to be about this high, and I can go a little bit higher. Just a little. I don't try to stay there that often, though.
But you can do cutesy voices.
The fact that Valerie's calling me a witch. I'm not a witch. I'm a kitsune.
A very cute one.
Thank you so very much, Valerie. It truly means the universe to me. And it's also an honor to collaborate with you and to consider myself your friend. Thank you, Emma. And thank you so very much, Vermilion. My dear protege. Also, for those who have not checked in, please check out Vermilion VA's channel. I've got a bit of a work that I've got in the background. I've been editing an audio for her. I hope to get it done either sometime tonight or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. I'm gonna put my nose to the grindstone, and by the time that it's done, I will be back in the saddle. I hope. Kitsune witch, though. Fox girl magic. But yeah, it's not magic, and it isn't like surgery or anything like that. I can't afford surgery for it. This is all in the voice box. It is all in the way that you manage your resonance. And yes, it took me 6 years to get this good. It won't be overnight for you either. If you're interested in voice training, it is a matter of continuous practice, of discipline, and just that sheer fiery want, that determination to get that voice that you want. And feel free to experiment if you do. Your voice is an instrument. And once you learn how to use it, you can do a lot of things with it. Winter says voice surgeries don't do as much as people think, and you still have to voice train after the fact. Indeed, Alice. Of course. Oh yes, indeed. And when your voice drops back down to a more comfortable register, or just to a deeper one in general, you can suddenly drop into this. What do you think? I definitely think that this is a wonderful trade-off. To be able to go from basically a really, really high voice to a really, really low one. It is mostly practice. And it is about exercising vocal muscles. Exactly. Exactly. Kitty says, you actually have been a huge voice goal for me. Oh, thank you so very much. That actually tickles me pink. Well, I'm not really... Well, you understand. Fan says, the hardest for me is talking alone. Especially when I live with, Kolox? The shy goes up a lot. I completely understand. When I was, like, living in Cali with my blood family still, voice training was also a matter of self-consciousness for me as well. Baitor says, for some, singing can also help get your voice up to a certain range. Still gotta work on inflections, though. Heat from fire, fire from heat. I cast Fireball! Oh, living with peps, friends. It's witch time, motherfucker! Fireball! Austin Wonderland says, really hard to get things done that don't give immediate gratification, lol. In the words of my brother, some things give yippee and some don't. In my mind, if there's no yippee, there's no point. I actually found a cheat code for that in my channel. Now, I don't recommend that you star a channel if you don't want to. For me, it gave me an incentive to improve my voice because I could hear the subtle improvements per audio. If you go back in time, you can listen to the very first ASMR that I released, and you can tell that I'm timid, you can tell that I am shaky voiced, you can tell that I am actually trying to be as quiet as possible because I'm still living in my mother's house, and I don't want her to hear me saying anything crazy. And now, I mean, I live in a place where I can theoretically say whatever I wish to in an audio. Yeah, so long as I'm, like, doing it in the context of the story. I mean, seriously, Delphi says, I look forward to vivisecting you. I wouldn't have dreamed of saying a line like that when I was still living in Cali. Honest to goodness. Moving out and training all this time, posting each audio, making myself improve, seeing the really, really wonderful comments left under each of the videos it's been a huge dopamine hit. And it actually did give me that short-term reward to continue moving forward. Hello. Lundile? Got a good life and I kinda have a question? Ask away. Corvus says that Tor. I've done that before. I'm not sure if it's just falsetto or not, but my singing voice can get actually nice. Sometimes I sing to myself as well. I really enjoy singing a couple of songs that I've memorized. Fan says, I may have mined a lot to listen to them all, Patreon and YouTube combined. Some show a lot more than others. Honest to goodness, if you're of age, I don't really mind if you pirate my content. Yeah, that's right. Sure, I gotta eat, and the patrons I thank at the beginning of every single stream. But if you don't have the coin to spare, and you're of age, feel free to pirate it. Alice says eventually you get a yippee moment. Indeed. Camilla says people can be awful, but they can absolutely be the best thing about living. Yeah, it just depends on the people you live with. When I was still living in Cali, the people that I was currently living with, they were an interesting bunch. Some better than others. I certainly know that my blood siblings were a lot better than my blood parents were. Especially when I was like a kid, both of the blood parents were really, really horrible. One's improved, one I no longer talk to at all, and of course there is, my uncle on my mother's side whom, yeah, I don't like. Winter says voice training just currently takes more mental load than I have available. Which is honestly quite alright. If you don't have the spoons to voice train, the one you've got now is just as valid. Lost in Wonderland says, like I could voice train, and I want to because people hearing me rather than seeing me is something I like, and I want to be like what I sound like too, but god damn it if starting isn't the hard part. Wondal says, are you gonna make any more Symbiote or Cerberus ASMR audios? Symbiote? Maybe. Not any of the symbiotes that I've written before, mind. Dominant and Mizette's story are already done. So I've got one that is theoretically in the works. I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm gonna try for it. It might be a Patreon only, though. As for Cerberus, I'm not sure if I want to continue their storyline. It has been a long time since I was writing them, and my headspace has changed. It's changed quite a lot. Camilla says, I don't want to pirate a small channel. Even though you have the creator's express blessings too? Like she has given you the express blessing too? Personally, I see it as a FU to capitalism. If I could post audios, and sure they wouldn't like earn me money, but I could still share the work and still get like people to see them and they could enjoy them, and I could still like live comfortably. Like if I was like just paid in the fact that I have a place to stay, food to eat, water to drink, and internet of course by which to share my wonderful things, then I have no need of money. Kamal says, I understand as much as I wish I didn't. I think after my grandfather dies, that's gonna be the end of my relationship with my dad. Shonk, says Simonor. Hey, it's a shonk. Kitty says, I actually found that learning about to do IPA sounds has helped me with voice training. What's IPA? Fan says, will Symbiote 1 continue? Are you talking about Mizette? Because Mizette's story is done. I mean, sure, I started writing a second season to that a long time ago, but again, my mindset has kind of changed. I'm not sure if I can continue on that storyline right now. Kitty says I won't because I don't know how to. Camilla says, my morals are too strict. Unfortunately, growing up, Superman was my role model. I completely understand. I love the James Gunn movie, at least from what I've seen. I haven't watched it from beginning to end, but I have heard a lot of good things about it. And of course it delivered the absolutely wonderful Starman slash I'm a punk rocker, yes I am memes. Director says hammer and sickle noises sound in the distance. Director says IPA stands for International Phonetic Alphabet, which I need to learn as well, actually. Gala says, I know I talk too much, I'll stop. It's okay, it's okay. I talk a lot, I like to yap, I like to chatter. That's what I like to do. Never apologize for that. Continue to yap, continue to chatter. Because I love hearing what you have to say. As a matter of fact, if you're lurking, please just sound off. You don't have to even say that much. I like knowing you're here. And I appreciate you for you. You're wonderful. Fan says season 2 started but ended? Yeah, I started it, but I can't continue it, and I certainly can't finish it, so it's just in this horrible limbo space, so I'm just gonna declare that it's done. Katie says International Phonetic Alphabet is what it's called. My girlfriend introduced it to me. I see. Alice says me and Alice are watching, but I'm doing homework in the meantime. I see. Oh. Got a bunch of good kitties in the chat. Good kitty. Good kitty. Fan says also, the Eldritch ones, the last ones released, hit different. Don't listen to them a lot. I like my Eldritch monstrosities. Corva says, wait, why are we meowing? I'm not a kitty. Well, are you a corvid? 'Cause corvid birds do mimic the sounds of other creatures. So it could just be that you are just doing what you're meant to do by mimicking the sound. Valerie says, nya, 123, nya, arigato. Fan says only twice a day each days. Lost says average shapeshifter W. Winter says corvids are a vibe. They are a vibe. Wendell says hitting the hay because it's 4 AM where I am now. And I think in the energy. Oh yeah, I completely understand that. Corva says, yeah, that's why I make a bunch of other animal noises sometimes. Oh yeah, I completely get that. I make my own silly sounds because I like squeaking. That's just like a consequence. It is a consequence of my voice training. I am able to squeak on command. I also sometimes squeak involuntarily whenever I yawn. Yeah, and just occasionally you just hear in the distance, or if it's really late in the dark, you just hear a little... Camilla says, you know, there is something beautiful about unfinished media. There's this show on Netflix, Arthur and the Knights of Justice. I like to imagine the knights are still looking for a way home. Emma, caw. A raven's melancholy caw. Alice says, lately I've wanted to be plant, and that's all I'll say about that. Valerie says, which plant? Oh no. 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 Winter says sometimes you just gotta make your own weird little noises. Garva says at Camilla Cat Girl Empress of Hell. That's such... Yeah, Camilla. That's such a nice way to put it. Director says seconded on hitting the hay. As for me, it is unfortunately o'clock. Emma says squeak. Fan says the squeaky and hautbois are most common I saw. Alice says being a big friendly maple tree sounds nice. I can't. It's breaking the Prime Directive to mention anything. I mean, I guess? Valerie says vocal stems are something I've blurted Sonic quotes in public on accident. Echolalia. I sometimes quote things like Final Fantasy 12 or 10 in public. Or just like quotes from villains, because I just like how they sound. Hitomi says I've been wanting to be a spider lately. I am incredibly scared of spiders. Katie says, I can't actually like to imagine crows having their own civilization in the far future. I hope they do. Lost in Wonderland says at Valerie's scythe, I actually quoted Gabriel calling someone, "You insignificant fuck!" before that went about as well as you'd expect. Fan says, it feels like panic time. Emma's giggling. And so is Vermilion, because they know. They know. They know. They know what I'm on about. They know what I'm all about. They know what I am. Alice says, oh, I don't mean this in a literal way, to be honest. I just want chillin' photosynthesize. Yeah, there's several that do. Several plants that do, I mean. Yep, I'm absolutely fine, my dear. Carla says, dog has decided to be a menace. Emma says, hugs Foxo. But yes, tree. Believe it or not, I have actually been wanting to be a plant alien myself. Simply because I want to have more energy to be able to do things in a single day. Hello. Euphoriana. Giving vocal stymes to my robot-coded me by making her beep at the start of every sentence in Tamagotchi life. Simonor says, I'm gonna go for now. Have fun with the rest of your stream. Thank you for stopping by, Simonor. It's been a wonderful time with you here. Bye-bye. Stay safe. Come again soon. Alice says, same, I'm so tired. Fan says, I saw some plant ASMR. Some are good, but weird. Weird in what way? Lost in Wonderland, a plant alien? Now, where have I heard that before? Hitomi says, you know, having more energy would certainly be nice. Emma says, boop? And Vermilion says, boop. Lost in Wonderland goes boop as well. Mary says, plant foxo, like Sprigatito, but fluffy, and fox. Alice says, oh yeah, I could just have a grass-type Sona. Hello, Maxine. A Pokemon audio would be absolutely adorable. I'm not sure if I want to. Let me just break it down a little bit for you. My channel is meant for mature adult audiences only. There's only one reason why there isn't an age cap on all of the audios that I've posted. And why they are firmly meant not for kids. It's simply because the algorithm punishes me for making them adult-only audios. If it didn't punish me, and actually, you know, notified people that I uploaded, I would happily do that. I would happily lock it down and make it so that only adults can see them. But as this world is increasingly demonstrated, it isn't fair, and it is impartial with its cruelty. So, they remain out in the open. So, I'm not sure if I will do a Pokemon audio, simply because, I don't know, the idea just makes me a little bit uncomfy. Katie says, punished in the bad way. Yeah, punished in the bad way. Austin Wonderland says, Houndoom Mawoo. Yeah, unfortunately that might not go over well. Yeah. Pokemon is a series that is meant to be enjoyed by all ages. Children and adults alike. Yeah, that's right. There is absolutely no judgment from me to adults who play Pokemon. Because it is a fun series for a lot of people. I wouldn't dream of taking that away from people. But it also means that I probably won't be making things with that particular franchise. Not least of which also because I am slightly worried about copyright coming after me. Nintendo can be a little bit prickly, we'll just say. Mary says Yandere Anthro Ninetail snuggles you. Fan says in some companies would loom over this Cutiefox. Indeed, indeed. Now, yeah, the Nintendo ninjas. Yeah. For the creative merits, I will say that there are a bunch of things that I could potentially do for a Yandere audio. There are several avenues by which this could go, but also, something about it just, it doesn't appeal to me in that sort of way. I don't want to make something in that world. Believe it or not, I actually used to have a fanfiction that I was working on a long time ago that was slightly based on Pokemon X and Y. But ever so slightly. And it was far before I came out as trans either. This started when I was like 14 or so over 10 years ago. But after that, I stopped cold turkey. Maxine says, I'm so glad something I said completely out of the blue sparked such an interesting conversation. Fan says Nintendo would unearth the Warhammer. Fan says, I saw someone mention Pokemon and they disappeared in 1 week. Oh gosh. But Tor says, night, very happy I could finally catch another stream. Good night, Tor. Stay safe out there. See you again soon. Mary says, can be? They're full-on prickly these days. Lost in Wonderland says, anyway, about Pokemon, has anyone here played Pokopia yet? I haven't. It's not really interested me. I've been playing like several run-throughs of Resident Evil Village though. I played through the entire game. A few times actually. Once on a normal run to appreciate the story. The second time on a casual playthrough so that I could gather like a bunch of items to prepare for my Village of Shadows run. An absolute nightmare scape, which I won't be doing again for a while. Emma says, yeah, Pokemon as a franchise is kind of child-coded. Like, literally the protag of every game is a kid, except when it's Pokemon, I guess. Fizz says, witness it. Witness. Emma says, also don't want to get sued by Nintendo. Camilla says, dog has stopped being a menace. Fan says, the thing to know is, Nintendo don't take no for an answer. Lost in Wonderland says, sad Emma, I'm pretty sure Westrom Coliseum is an adult. Camilla says, Nintendo don't mess around. Nathan says, there was this small Pokemon comic involving Vespiquen, and I could hear you speaking the dialogue in my head. Maxine says, Nintendo Smash, it's like a force of nature, lol. Winter says, I've been binge playing Final Fantasy XIV. Oh, Final Fantasy XIV. I remember playing that some time ago. I wish I could play it again. But it costs money. Every single month. I just want to pay for a game once and play it. Like, why can't I pay for a game once? There are so many other single-player games that I can just pay once. There's so many other multiplayer games where I can only just pay once. Why can't I play it, you know, just pay once and play forever? Alice says, how's it the Final Fantasy if there are 14 of them? Because the original creators wanted there to be alliteration in the title. And that's how the original was born, because it was going to be like their final game before they went out of business, and then it spawned a massive cultural shift. Hello, Swoon Kid. Emma says, Phayapacopy as the first Pokemon game in years to really catch my interest, but... like, how to put it? Lost in Wonderland says, I mean, fair enough, spin-off GameCube game, but it's a fun one. Maxine says, I've been binge playing Icarus survival games, pulled my heartstrings. Fan says, big corpo games became so costly these days. Fizz says, been stuck in the Warframe grind loop. Lost says, at Nathan, nice, just started it recently. Alice says, forever fantasy now. Winter says, cause Final Fantasy XIV makes up like half of Square Enix's revenue. I hate to say it, but they're vampires. They're vampires. FF1 is okay? Some kid says, I've been playing my Wii again, and I still don't think any controller will beat the Wiimote. I like my mouse and keyboard. I used to be like an avid console gamer when I was a kid, but mouse and keyboard fits me the best these days. You know, except for Souls games. Souls games, I love to have my hands on a controller, because that just feels better. It feels more natural. Maxine says, Warframe mentioned, I also have a hyperfixation on such a game 10 plus years of being a Tenno. There is actually a patron by the name of Valkyr Tenno, who is an active patron member. And it's because of them that I also have a Valkyr and a Valkyr Prime in Warframe. They helped me farm for it. Kayla says everything ends eventually. I don't think Final Fantasy is any different. Eventually there will be a Final Fantasy. I want it to end on the most poetic note that it can. I want it to be a beautiful, sprawling game. I want the theme to be of something ending. And at the very end, I wanted to give a heartfelt thanks for all of the support throughout all the years. And then it just ends. That's how I want it to end. Something heartfelt, with soul, with life. Gamela says... Oh wait, yeah. Emma says, if Nintendo had been as litigious in response to certain propaganda videos using their music as they are towards little kids having Pokemon-themed birthday parties, then I might have considered getting it if I had the money. Ben says, the Switch 2 rules are strict, to say the least, so I stay with my Monster Hunter that is big, but not big enough. I don't have a Switch 2. I just have the regular Switch. I don't think I'm gonna be buying any Nintendo products for years. I just don't want to. Kinda burned out on Nintendo's bullshit. Swim says, I can't play racing games on keyboard and mouse. I just can't do it. Lost says, been playing more Mugenics and Ultrakill. Really need to get to something else soon because I finished one, and the other is driving me mad. Alice says the Tenno are numerous in this chat. Vermilion says, okay, that's not actually that bad. So not only is this a children's cartoon, but we are flagrantly ripping off Pokemon. That's Pikachu, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and the exact font. Do you understand how beep we are? Pulling this beep with this government? We'd be all better off committing war crimes than this level of copyright infringement. Kimmel says, Maxine says, also, I don't know if it's like taboo, but is the next audio gonna be Dark Mage? Please, I love it so much. The script is just divine. I really, really loved writing Dark Mage. it came from some really, really real feelings that I have, like, been harboring for just the longest time. Because I have not been locked away for, like, millennia in basically a glorified cellar underneath the world. But I know what it's like being cooped up in a single place for so long that it feels like you're going crazy. I know what that feels like. It's happened to me for, like, most of my life, as a matter of fact, with very few opportunities to choose where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. So yeah, Dark Mage spawned from a pretty depressing corner of my psyche. Which is why I gave her a happy ending, because I wanted to demonstrate that these feelings aren't final. Eventually things do get better. And sure, they may not get better by your lonesome, but there will be people around you that can help, that will reach out to help you. It is also completely possible that the Dark Mage could have simply ignored the listener entirely, continued humming and muttering to herself, just thinking that the listener was just another hallucination. But if she did that, she probably would have remained trapped. And even when the bars were lifted, she could potentially be trapped for even longer, held not by the bars themselves, but the memory of them. It was her courage to step beyond the bars, her courage to ask to reach out and touch another living soul, that set her truly free. I didn't mean to go on this long soliloquy about this character that I wrote, but I wanted to. Also, I wonder if I'm using that word correctly. Soliloquy. Dramatic device where a character speaks their innermost thoughts aloud while alone or oblivious to others on stage. So I guess it's partially correct, but I know that I am saying it in front of an audience. Hey! Hey, Yui! It's good to see you, boss! Camilla says Kingdom Hearts 4 is coming out soon. Nice. Brendan Lee Mulligan, says Vermilion. Camilla says Kingdom Hearts 4 feels weird, so are being an adult with an apartment. Vermilion says Nintendo bad. Oh yeah, most companies bad. I would venture to say that all companies bad, with very few exceptions. Fan says most AAA games sadly end up when they release a game that doesn't profit enough and kills the series. Looking at you, Titanfall 3 and Apex Legends. Emma says, I'm very forgiving. Like I said, I'd have got it if they'd actually taken a stand when it mattered, but now, never playing a Nintendo game again, save maybe through an emulator. Dark Mage was so good. Maxine says, I single-handedly try my best to play non-AAA games. I literally mostly exist in Warframe, Trade Chat, and Smite 2 Duel. Fan says Dark Mage was the next one I was gonna listen. I guess I will get my hype up. I really like it. I really liked recording Dark Mage because I allowed myself longer pauses than I normally go for. I tend to hype myself up really, really quickly to get through a script, like, extremely quickly. And only slow down for intentional reasons. For Dark Mage, she is slower. She's more patient. She's been waiting so long and doesn't know what she's been waiting for. She allows herself sometimes days without speaking. She's actually learning to talk more and more post the series, because she's not used to people actually caring about what she has to say. And there's also the potential that she can accidentally cast magic because she'll say a spell, without meaning to, simply because she thinks that the words are random, because she's forgotten that it's a spell. Hi. Emma Snuggles? Lost says, trying to get back into a bunch of stuff I've done before, drawing, D&D, voice acting and editing, and 3D modeling. Wouldn't call myself good at any of that, but it's fun. Lol. Hey! Hello, fellow 3D modeler. Hello, fellow voice actor and editor. Hello, fellow drawer and D&D enthusiast. Hello! Cuddles for you, Vermilion. Maxine says I love Dark Mage and Hello Detective because both involve being trapped, whether figuratively and literally, and being whisked away. One is being taken and the other is saving someone. Emma says most companies bad, yeah. Camilla says my hometown felt like a cage, unfortunately. I don't think I'll have a happy ending. My story's a tragedy first and foremost. I'm a prisoner. I've been caught red-handed showing feelings of a human nature. I'm sorry. Oh, it's all good, Vermilion and Emma. My apologies. Good girl. Fan says, me gonna do the eat. It's almost midnight where I'm at, so I say goodbye and hearts. Hugs for Camilla. Yeah, burnout sucks. It really sucks. I've been there. And depression sometimes hits the worst. Oh, it sometimes hits the worst. Maxine says, oh, I love 3D modeling. I literally have a fully decked out AutoCAD account with Fusion and Inventor XD. Bought a 3D printer so I could not spend thousands on miniatures for D&D and Warhammer. Nice. A fully decked out AutoCAD account. So you have access to Maya and 3ds Max? No, that's Autodesk. Yes, burnout, depression, anxiety. I've been dealing with these for a long time, and the feelings only intensified over the last couple of weeks, hence why I haven't been streaming. I apologize for my absence. I've honestly should have been streaming a lot more over the past couple of weeks. I know that streaming makes me feel better. I feel a lot better right now, as a matter of fact, simply because I have the ability to chatter. Thank you, Vermilion VA, my dear protege. Gotta take a drink. Camilla says, while people are logging off, I guess I'll stay. Thank you so very much for allowing me to entertain you. I hope that I am extremely entertaining. Hello, Rosa. Hiya. I think this is the first time I managed to come to a stream. Welcome. Welcome. Hi. So very good to meet you. And hello. How can I pronounce your name? But welcome to you. Please pull up a chair. I hope to be very entertaining for you. Excuse me. Camilla says, that way you have someone to talk to. It's never fun to be alone. It never is. But you do not have to oblige me in conversation if that's not your wish. Because I certainly know that conversation can turn dull and dreary if you're being forced into it. I know. I've been there. Also, thanks, Yui. Rosa Shadow says, I love your voice. I've been watching your videos and loving them. Camilla says, you sound like Femme Alistar. Of course, this will be very entertaining. Vermilion says, indeed, Emma, she's amazing. I do the best I can. Thank you. Maxine says, AutoCAD is developed by Autodesk. I essentially have the monthly licensing paid for from my previous schooling avenues, if you will. I've been around in terms of schools and certifications. I actually have a certificate in 3D animation. I got it in early 2020s. I actually know a lot about 3ds Max and a little bit about Maya as well. I was able to transfer a lot of my knowledge over to Blender when I started using it instead of any Autodesk products. Camilla says, if I didn't want to talk, I wouldn't. I completely understand. I'm still grinning at the you sound like Femme Alistar. Ah, ambiguity. I remember when I did my own radio demon so long ago. I think that I could definitely do her a lot more justice now, simply because I can demonstrate my showmanship. Lost says I'm gonna go join a friend for her Sea of Thieves stream. Been nice seeing everyone again. Ah. Stars. Well, I hope that you have fun, Lost. Ba 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 da ba 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 da ba. Elysian. Is that how you say your name? Elysian? I love listening to you. Also, your audio has helped me come out, so thanks. Really? Loved your radio demon. Why, thank you so very much. I really, truly appreciate it. Vermilion says, ooh, Foxton Studio at Cutiefox and Maxine. Maybe. My entire goal is to make a bunch of 3D art, and if I have plans for a show or something, hopefully we could get picked up by Glitch or something. Elysian says, and yes, that is how you say it. Why, thank you so very much, my dear. I'm just gonna kill the music really quickly, because I wanted to demonstrate also a song. I've been singing this song a lot on this channel. A lot of people who have been here before know what the song is already. I tend to sing it a lot because it's a comfort thing. For a second I had like this crisis moment where it's like, oh gosh, why do I sing it this often? But yeah, World's Greatest Actor is one of my favorite songs. It's a short one. It's very easy for someone to memorize if they've got the time and want to put that sort of discipline into it. And I think that it keeps my voice in tip-top singing shape. So let me go ahead and kill this music for a really quick sec. There we go. The world's greatest actor doesn't need a stage, 'cause they're so good at their craft that nobody knows they're fake. The fools had no clue, the one they knew was just a fraud. The master of pretending to be something that they're not. But as the years go by, the actor starts to change. As day by day they live their life like all the world's a stage. Their true self mutilated by their permanent new mask. But by the time they realize it, it's too late to turn back. The world's greatest actor despises their new form. Through their practice, saccharine smiles, they got much more than they bargained for. For as they turn back to their unsuspecting crowd, they thank them for their patronage and take their final bow. Whew. Thanks, Camilla. Camilla says, I don't understand how I'm alive. I didn't expect to make it to 15, let alone 25. Between the epilepsy, the radar fundamentalist town, and the deadly pills for that epilepsy, I don't know how I'm here. I'm so sorry. Vermilion says, ooh, pretty name, Elysian. Maxine says, listen, I still hum the Huntress's lullaby. And Camilla says, I sing the second Dofio Tokyo Ghoul a lot. Vermilion says, reminds me of Folklore's Inferino's story from Genshin Impact. La 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 As a former Huntress main, I have that lullaby stuck in my head. Thank you, Emma. Nice see you, Vermilion. Camilla says my brother and his wife love the Dead by Daylight Huntress. Emma says in a beautiful voice in turn, oh, why thank you, Petal. Thank you so very much, Petal. Stars. It's great to be back. Woo. Of course, I gotta be very careful whenever I sing songs these days. I tried singing The Hanging Tree the other day, the last time that I was streaming, and the stream got copyright claimed for that piece of singing because I sounded too similar to Jennifer Lawrence. Nathan says, I've been wanting to save up for a new laptop. The shift key on the one I'm using just occasionally stops working, which becomes very annoying, especially when I'm playing Doom or Ultra Kill. Thank you so very much, Vermilion. It was. Camilla says, I can't tell you if I remember him telling me, but we aren't that close. But I want to reach out. Thank you so very much, Vermilion. Camilla says, do Femca first, then I'd love to hear The Devil in Disguise. Oh, Devil in Disguise? I love that song. Hang on a sec, I'll kill the music. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get claimed for this stream too. I don't care. I'll cut it out of the stream. I'm looking at the lyrics. I don't have it entirely memorized. You're talking about the one by Marino, right? Maxine says, this music reminds me of the circus audio, which, for a one-off, was amazing, definitely out there for you, but still done so perfectly. There is actually an origin for Jenny Jester that I need to record and post. I'll edit and post, but it's essentially like something bordering a creepypasta. But I think that it'd be incredible, especially for YouTube. Also, would you mind if I altered some of the lyrics to make the devil sound like a woman? Like, the devil that they're talking about is a lady instead of a gentleman? Because I just tend to do that for songs sometimes. She said, you think the devil has horns? Well, so did I. But I was wrong, her hair is combed and she wears a suit and tie. She's nice, polite, she'll catch you by surprise. A smile so bright, you'd never bat an eye. Said she was in a hurry. That's when she met her Sunday walking down the street. She dropped her bag and it fell to her feet. She got down on one knee. She handed her the purse and gave a warning to her, saying, Miss, you know the devil has horns. She's out tonight, walking round downtown, carrying a gun and knife. She'll fight, you'll die, but you'll see her clear as light. An evil sight, you should know the warning signs. So then she walked her to her home. She said, a pretty girl like you can't be alone. Because the devil, she will take all that you own, and she'll strip you to the bone. She thanked her twice and said goodnight. She checked her bag, but nothing was inside. You think the devil has horns? Well, so did I. But I was wrong, her hair is combed, and she wears a suit and tie. She's nice, polite, she'll catch you by surprise. A smile so bright, she's the devil in disguise. A bit of a singing stream, yes. What do you think? I know that wasn't like the best, but you know, always room for improvement. There's nowhere to go but up. Thank you so very much, Camilla. And Alice. Thank you so, so much. Also, I've heard it used for animation memes. Some of them are pretty great. Thinking, what other songs could I do? I wonder. I could always do Bones in the Ocean. By the Longest Johns, I think it was. But yeah, Bones in the Ocean is actually one of my favorite songs, and yet one I don't listen to all that often. Mainly because, for me, it kind of reads like a sad song. And thus I don't have it memorized, but I can always look up the lyrics. Let me kill this music really quickly. Estrogen Enjoyer, happy visibility day. 1 day late. Hey, I'm still visible. Right? I'm still visible. Right? Ah! Right, sorry. Oof, that was scary. Winter says, estrogen. Ahem. Oh, I bid farewell to the pores and the land, and I paddle away from brave England's white sands to search for my long ago forgotten friends, to search for the place I hear all sailors end. As the souls of the dead fill the space of my mind, I'll search without sleeping till peace I can find. I fear not the weather, I fear not the sea. I remember the fallen, do they think of me? When their bones in the ocean forever will be. Plot a course to the night, to a place I once knew, to a place where my hope died along with my crew. So I swallow my grief and face life's final test, to find promise of peace and the solace of rest. As the songs of the dead fill the space of my ears, their laughter like children, their beckoning cheers, my heart longs to join them, sing songs of the sea. I remember the fallen, do they think of me? When their bones in the ocean forever will be. When at last before my ghostly shipmates I stand, I shed a small tear for my home upon land. Though their eyes speak of depths filled with struggle and strife, their smiles below say I don't tell them my life. As the souls of the dead fill the space of my eyes, and my boat listed over and tried to capsize, I'm this far from drowning, this far from the sea. I remember the living, do they think of me? When my bones in the ocean forever will be. Now that I'm staring down at the darkest abyss, I'm not sure what I want, but I don't think it's this. As my comrades call to stand fast and forge on, I make sail for the dawn till the darkness has gone. As the souls of the dead live forever in my mind, as I live all the years that they left me behind, I'll stay on the shore but still gaze at the sea. I remember the fallen and they think of me, for our souls in the ocean together will be. I remember the fallen and they think of me, for our souls in the ocean together will be. Maxine says, I love this adorable trans meme that I legit just saw on Reddit, but your future self appearing in front of you going, well, it turns out you're gay. Your response is, but I like girls. Exactly. Pronouns are pancakes. Why not both? Ellie randomly appears. Hi, Ellie. Alice says, I forgot how much I love this song. Maxine says, so immersed in the song, but then an ad at max headphone volume hit me. I jumped. I'm sorry, Maxine. The Hearse song? I'm not sure I know that one. Hello, Ellie. Hello, gorgeous fox and lovely chat. How are we doing today? Love that meme. Me too. Hooray, lesbians! That song definitely never fails to get me to test my lung capacity. But yeah, songs. I love songs. Music is one of those things that definitely helps keep me going. Can you do blink sake or sake? I'm not sure. I don't know that one. Camilla says, you know what? I also love cats. Cats are great. I like cats. They're fluffy and fuzzy and they can be so cuddly. Especially, of course, if you treat cats with respect. When they willingly nuzzle into you. Oh, it's so heartwarming. Emma says, or words for other channels, I love you block, but for Fox, so I watch the ads. Oh, stars. I don't mind if you use an ad block on my channel. Maya says, I have recently earned the trust of a stray cat that lives near my dorm. I see. Vermilion says puppies are really adorable too. Oh, puppies are so cute. Camilla says, I have a dog. But that's because he came to me. Hehe. Dog redistribution system. Gotta love dogs. My grandmother liked to have dogs. Stars, the poor dears must be missing her so badly right now. It's been a fair bit already. I think it's almost been a year. Yeah, I think it's almost been a year now. Still, though, she helped raise me, and she helped keep me safe, me and my blood siblings. She was a tough-as-nails woman. I will never forget every single lunch that she made. Like, every single one. Sometimes it would be something low effort, like hot dogs and, like, a side of, potato salad. And some Cheez-It crackers. Something like that. And sometimes it would just be like a plate of spaghetti. With a side of salad. With homemade Italian dressing. Stars. And listening to a radio station playing all the latest hits from the 2014 to 2015 era. Oh, I can just imagine those summers. Oh, those are such golden summers, those. Oh. My grandmother was such a lovely person. Oh, she was no nonsense. In a lot of ways, she could be incredibly strict. But she wasn't batshit crazy like, my blood mother was. Oh, stars, I'm actually getting really teary-eyed. Ah. Oh, Ellie. I knew she was. That's some of the final words that she said to us. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Thank you. Hey, I'm back. Thank you for bearing with me. Oof. I didn't quite mean to break down quite like that, as I said in the text chat right here. But yes, what I say here is true. Today is a wonderful day. Because you're in it. Because you are who you are. And I like you just the way you are. Never forget, you're unique. Same goes for you, Camilla. Never forget that, okay? Thank you so very much, Emma. And Vermilion. Thank you. Ellie says sorry for that, Nico, if I bring you in tears. It's okay. It's quite alright, my dear. It wasn't your fault. I was already seemingly going down that path anyways. But yes, I was able to be there for her in her final moments. I and a bunch of other close family members, and a couple whom I've never met before. And yes, one of the last coherent sentences that I heard from her was that she was proud of us. Of all of us. And she was still capable of throwing out some witty zingers as well. I'm not going to tell you what they are, because that's a personal thing. That's a personal zinger. I won't rob her of memory of that by sharing that here. She liked listening to Queen's music. Yeah, Freddie Mercury. Yeah, sure. Some of the ideas that she had I didn't quite agree with. There were also a couple of things we had our differences on. But she accepted me for who I was. And she helped keep us safe. She clothed us, fed us, and made sure that we were loved. And for that, I'll always honor her memory. Always. Oh yeah. Whew, had to swallow there. Sorry. I was also thinking about all the little, like, things that I did in, my grandfather's shop. 'Cause he, had, like, this workshop in, his backyard. Separate building entirely from the main house. And one of the things that he did was, like, restore cars. One of the, trucks that he, restored was a very, very pretty green one. Like an older model. I'm trying to remember exactly which one it is. Here, let me look it up. I'm gonna see if I can try to find the model. And my fan died. It automatically dies sometimes. Yeah, it was a vintage Chevrolet, I think it was. Yeah, vintage Chevy of some kind. I'll have to ask him about it when I get the chance. Yeah, the one that I remember was like a long time ago, back when I was still like a kid, so pre-transition. He actually like drove me in that bright green truck. That bright green vintage truck for this one air show. I can't remember where it was in SoCal. And it was just me and him. I think it was because I was the quote-unquote only male in the family. That was why he invited me along to a bunch of other things. But honestly, it just felt really, really nice, because it honestly goodness felt like my big sibling and my little brother got to do a lot of things that I wasn't allowed to do. And so it just felt like something that I could say was mine. It was a trip that I could go on, where I didn't have to be a part of a matched set. And always have to, like, wait my turn and, like, always be really, really quiet and stuff. Also made me really, really mad whenever my blood parents interfered. Granted, I think they were doing it for a noble cause. Noble cause or no, still really infuriating, because it still felt like I was being trapped in this matched set. Couldn't have something to myself to go on a trip that was purely for, like, me and my grandfather. Oh, chatting about some memories and stuff because, I started going down memory lane. And now I'm recounting some old stories. Thank you so very much, Camilla. Camilla says my grandfather helped me a lot. Mean old man sometimes, but when it was me and my brother, he always took an objective view. Hey, frog. Yep, Foxalore. When I came out as trans, and it was after the divorce happened, obviously my blood mother and my blood siblings didn't want anything to do with, blood father. But I still wanted to. It got me out of the house, and me and him, I'm not entirely sure what our dynamic is. It's like I consider him more so of an older brother than I do a father. Because, for the most part, he wasn't really there when we were growing up. He was mostly focused on his job or whatnot, and didn't really interfere too much whenever, you know, my blood mother was going through one of her screaming, you know, tantrums. And so I never really considered him, like, too authoritative. There were moments where I was scared of him. But mostly I was scared of Stephanie. Damn it. Thinking. Real names obviously replaced for, privacy's sake. I got into the habit of referring to them by a first name, instead of referring to them by a title. Because I wanted to strip them of that title, because I felt that it afforded them some measure of authority over me. And I disdain people having authority over me when it's clear that they don't really have my best interests at heart. And granted, Blood Mother did have some of my best interests at heart. I will admit that. She sometimes did. And then there were a lot of times where she was just simply vindictive. Foxo, foxy, foxy, fops. So many ways to say fox. Indeed. Camilla says my father scares me. Still does, MAGA guy. Oh, he's a triple trumper? Damn. Sorry. But yeah, why was I talking about this is because I was thinking about the Christmas party. Again, blood siblings, blood mother didn't want anything to do with the blood father or any of the things that he went on, so they abstained from going to my grandfather on my father's side's Christmas party because he threw those every December. You know, it wasn't always on Christmas Eve, but it was around Christmas time. And I went all out for it. I got a big red and black dress. I wore it to the Christmas party. It was the first time that I was out and about in that dress. And it was the first time they had seen me as who I really was. And they accepted me. They accepted me for who I was. I mean, they didn't quite get it, but... I mean... But yeah. They accepted me for who I was. And it was one of my aunts, I think, that really noted that I wasn't as quiet as I was before. That I just wasn't as quiet as I was when I was around my blood siblings. And I could finally understand a bit why. Because I was a part of that matched set. Because I was always, like, one of three. I was always in the background, and, you know, my blood siblings were always the ones that, you know, were up front and talking, and so whenever they were talking, I didn't want to interrupt them, so I just stayed back, and I stayed quiet. Not so when they weren't around. I was able to talk and express opinions about things that they'd never heard before, because I was me, and I was out, and I was, for the first time ever, alone, but for my blood father. Onyx says, hi Cutiefox, good to see you streaming again. Thank you so very much. Very much appreciated. Camilla says, like I said, I'm trying to save it. But I can't save everyone or save every relationship, can I? Yeah, you can't. And some, you just gotta let it go. It's one of the reasons why I let my relationship with my blood mother go. Why I can never talk to her again. Because there's literally no point in me doing so anymore. I thought that there was a point where I thought that I could, like, rebuild that bridge of trust, where I could see if we could at least acknowledge the horrible things that happened, the horrible missteps, where I could, like, receive at least an apology. I don't think I ever will get that. Not really. There will always be an excuse. There will always be a, well, what about you-ism. And yes, when I was in Cali and talking to her again for the first time in 2 years, yeah, that's one of the things that she did. She blamed a lot of the negativity on me. And granted, yes, I was actually to, you know, blame in a couple of instances of that negativity. I did horrible things when I was living there too. And yeah, I will always remember them. I'll carry them with me. And I will carry them as a lesson to myself to never be that bad person again. And I will acknowledge that, yeah, I partially burned this bridge myself. That was my bad. And one of the things that I wanted her to acknowledge was she made very horrible miscalculations herself. That she let her blood brother, say and do such awful things while he was living under her roof. That she let him get away with so much. That she let him get away with putting his hands on me. It was a shove. A fairly rough one. But it was still a betrayal. Not to mention all the times that he and she got into screaming fits with each other. I don't really do well with yelling. It's one of the reasons why I very rarely yell myself, and when I do, it's typically when I'm voice acting. I tend to express my anger in a colder way. And when I get angry, I try to find out why I'm angry first and see if it's something that is my fault, or if it's something that was a mistake, or, something that I should legitimately be furious at. But yeah, no. It was mostly just a checklist of all the things that I did wrong. And granted, at the time, I was dealing with a lack of sleep because me and Big Sister Kira started that journey really, really early in the morning, and I was feeling exhausted. 5 hours on the road is no joke. So I was in a half-dazed state, and I also have to, point out that she wasn't invited by me to have that conversation in the first place. I simply let her know that I was in town and at the grandparents' place, and they just decided to invite themselves over without waiting for confirmation from me. So that was I guess, strike one in that. By not waiting and ambushing me while I was effectively mentally addled, I was essentially prevented from making a good mental fortification for that sort of conversation. And because of that, I was also terrified because a lot of the things that, Blood Mother was saying made a lot of sense to me. And I was worried that they would make sense to Akira and that I was actually at fault. And that I was actually this no-good secret villain. But Akira made it pretty darn clear that she had my back. And yeah, my grandmother was, still around then, and she did not care for how Blood Mother was handling that. Not at all. And I think she wanted a hug. Yeah, Blood Mother wanted a hug before she left. And one of the things that I was silently yelling to myself in my head as I was feeling so afraid and angry and disappointed. One of the things that I was silently chanting in my head was, "Don't you fucking touch me." Cause no, I didn't want to touch her. I didn't want to be anywhere near her by that point. So I settled on a handshake. Just once. Very firm. And then I let go. And basically made it clear that that was all I was gonna do. And that was that. Afterwards, I blocked her. and I will not be unblocking her ever again. That door is closed. That avenue of communication, done. There's nothing that can rebuild this bridge now. The sheer unwillingness to compromise, to acknowledge the wrongs done, to do so only like it's pulling teeth. Yeah, no, I can't do that again. I don't have that sort of mental energy to divide to her ever again. She stole years off of my life. She made me handle weights so long and so often. She lied to my face about several issues. She made wild promises that I knew on the onset would never come true. Started several projects and left us to handle them. And would get pissy when we didn't readily adopt to them. Like the waterfowl situation. I am not... I do not, like... How do I say this? I don't care that she started those sorts of projects. She is allowed to do those. But that's the key thing. She has to do them. If she wants to raise the birds, she does it on her own time and her own merit. She wants to help, other people to help out and wants to charge that as rent, fine, but you're not taking another dime out of my pocket to do that. It's either my money or my effort. Not both. I'm not going to pay to work a job. And yeah, I can't get around it. I love cats. I really, really do. I love the little fluffy monsters. 14 under one roof is too many. It is a serious health hazard for the cats and for the humans living there. Seriously, if I'm making bread and I can pick the cat hair out of my teeth if I bite into a slice of bread that I just made, it's time to rethink things, at least a little. And next time, just don't lie to my face about giving them new homes. That will always be a grievance. It'll always be a grievance in my mind. And no matter how many times I try to let it go, I can't. I've been trying to. I've been trying to let it go. I've been trying to move past it for so long. But it just remains a constant thorn in my head. Stars. I wish I could just simply forget about my 22 odd, very odd years there. Camilla says my mom apologized to me for treating my brother better. I'm happy. 50% isn't too bad. Onyx says, yeah, some people are just unwilling to admit their own mistakes and move forward, unfortunately. Camilla says, oh no, I'm sorry. You're a warrior, you are a champion, you're a queen. Thank you so very much. I will say, I'm not pure. I am not pure as the driven snow. I have fucked up. And yeah, I did cause a lot of negativity between us. And the partial burning of the bridge that happened before I even left happened because I put torch to it. I accept that. That's my responsibility. I own that. And when she asked me, by that metric, shouldn't I have kicked you out as well? I agreed with her. She should have kicked me out. As a matter of fact, she had been threatening to essentially kick me out at 18 ever since I was the age of 12. So then at least I can accept that threat as a promise that she actually fucking kept. Such a weird thing to actually have want to happen. 2 years before my transition even started, and I I already had wanted her to have at least had the backbone to do that. To actually put her foot down and hold to a promise. Even if it meant that I was out on the street. I suppose it meant that if that happened, I was free. Thanks, Emma. Demon Foxy Cure says, took a lot of willpower not to bap. Yeah, I'm really, really glad that Akira did not resort to physical violence. That would not... Yeah, assault at, you know, inside of our grandparents' place was not like, it was not gonna ever be acceptable. Camilla said, it unfortunately always sounds true when a parent says it, no matter how false it is, but remember, flowers don't choose where they bloom, and children don't pick their parents. Precisely. Lily says, I'm gonna be real, neither I have a good mother, and honestly don't think right here is the place to vent. I want to move out so much due to what she did and does. I just wish to be so far away from her. One day, you will be. Hold true to your path. Tenki says, hello, long-time video enjoyer. First-time stream joiner. No matter the trauma of the past, I want you to know your videos have been a source of calm in my own transition and recent years of stress. Also, I'm curious on the V-Stars logo. Oh, the V-Stars logo. V-Stars is the agency that I'm a part of. I am a member of V-Stars. I also have a fellow VTuber by the name of Pentium VT that also streams. I think they mostly stream on Twitch though. I'm primarily a YouTube streamer. Vermilion says, indeed, that's too much. Camilla says, no one is a saint. Precisely. Cosmo says, so the estranged parents theme that the listeners have in your videos is you. Guilty as charged. A lot of the times I do write the listener as being from my own point of view. It's like, typically it's from the point of view of, okay, what would I do if I was in this situation? And a lot of times I just simply write what I like to see out in the ASMR space. It is what it is. Emma says Bridges. Vermilion says a horrible one at that. You don't do that to a child. Captain says, that's cool and all. One more TF girl ASMR videos. When I can finish them. It's been a little bit slow going, a little bit hard going, but hopefully I will be able to upload more videos soon, as well as some like comic reads that I can do. Vermilion says, but at least you would have been free. I would have been. Camilla says, the reason why I call myself the Empress of Hell is because I was called the devil by my bullies, so I ended up taking in the title as a symbol. It encapsulates who I am, someone who keeps fighting. Taking the element of your... You know, taking the thing, a part of the thing by which you were bullied by, and transforming it, you know, redeeming it, making it yours, and turning it into an instrument of your own empowerment. I think that's a powerful sentiment. Akira says I was keeping cool, but inside my inner Bish and my inner troll were brawling for the chance to come out. Maya says, I found out my parents forgot about me coming out to them. How does a parent forget that? Do you just not take pleasure in your children's lives? Do you just not find joy in their joys? This is why I will never be a parent. I can never be a good parent to a child. I am far too selfish for a child. Onyx says, I love how much the ears move on the VTuber model, lol. Me too. I think that Unibuna did a wonderful job with this model rigging. If you look at Unibuna's Twitter, you can definitely see a lot of the videos in which he's, like, showing off this model. I mean, it's not like all of his videos, I don't even think it's most of them, but there were a couple on Twitter that I saw as he was, like, rigging us, and it was absolutely wonderful. Thank you, Vermilion. Akira says what I wouldn't give to go full Electra from Pose in that moment. Now says I am painfully familiar with the whole but what if everything really was my fault thing. It's dialed back a lot for me. Now I don't really think that everything was my fault, but I always keep an open mind to whenever I may actually be the problem in this situation. It's no good to think of myself as either being one way or another, being all it's either black or white about it. There are so many different shades of gray. I think that where I am isn't good, but it isn't bad. It isn't evil. Captain says, I had to come out to my parents like 3 times in my life. 12, 18, and then 22. Camilla says, I'm too much of a mess. I am a bit of a mess myself. Akira says, if you want to be a mom, you could, but I call dibs on being the aunt. If I ever do want to become a mother, I would want to wait until I have more experience of the world, and then I would want to adopt a child. I mean, obviously I can't carry a child, so obviously I'll try to adopt one. And again, I wouldn't want to raise that child alone. I would need help. I would need an entire village's worth of people to help. Not even huge things, just small things. Like helping teach the child different versions of how people do things. To teach them so many different words and cultures. To find community outside of just myself. You know, finding the adults that we can all trust together. To give a child the childhood that I was robbed of. I wasn't robbed of too terribly much. The fear did encapsulate most of my memories of that time. Emma says, which is to say, yeah, I'd be furious too. Camilla says for kids. Akira says she's the stylish trans femme who reads for filth. Onyx says, low-key, it seems like my dad has kind of forgot about me coming out to him as trans because he's barely acknowledged it and still refers to me with a lot of male terms. Yeah. It can be a little bit tiresome dealing with transphobic people. Working in Missouri, haha! Had to deal with a bunch of asshole bullies that wanted to, like, take the mickey, to take the piss out of it by, calling me sir to my face, even though I was like, not a sir. Will you sound like one? Will you look like one? And that's like the only time that I've ever swore at a customer. I just yelled at them to fuck off. Vermilion says you're not too selfish. You're selfless and kind and wonderful. You'd be an amazing mom. Well, not in my current state. I don't make enough. Which is like a very sadistic thing in this... Yeah, it's a very dystopic thing in this day and age to say. I legitimately do not make enough money to take care of a child. I mean... I'm struggling as it is. I'm trying to help Akira out here. And I'm struggling as it is. And you want me to take care of an entire other separate person? I can't. Not right now. And there's not much that I can teach the poor dear. Whoever they turn out to be. I would want to give them as many options as possible, and I don't have that many options myself. Camilla says, remember, you might be wrong, but that doesn't mean you're always wrong. Indeed. Take a grain of salt, but do not take the entire thing as salt. Emma says, I mean, yeah, it's important to be open to the idea that you've made mistakes and all, but like... sorry to leave the thought unfinished. But yeah, they do say it takes a village. Hello, Yara. Saxworm. Vermilion says, same here. Would like to adopt one day, perhaps. Akira says, I'd make sure we got a bigger place. This one is a bachelorette pad. Yep, bachelorette party here. A constant bachelorette party. Hi, Wolf. Good to see you. Frog says, real. Akira says, I can barely raise myself. Emma says, alright. Winter says, shout out to that time a friend drunk as fuck texted me. I think you'd be a great mom. Vermilion says, sorry. I didn't mean right now. Yeah, I getcha. Cosmo says, how many TF artists do you follow, Vol? As in trans femme artists? Well, I know there's Flawless Faye. I think Flawless Faye is trans. Trying to remember what others. Off the top of my head. Can't really remember any. Transformation, you meant? Well, in that case, I think Vanguard did a couple, I think Dangerous did a couple, I think Flawless Faye did a couple, I think that Fake did a couple. More than a couple. I'm pretty sure that there are a handful of others that I can't remember off the top of my head that do them or did them. And that's just like the ASM artists I'm thinking about. Then there's a particular artist that I really like called the Transform Mistress. Lovely art. I really adore the art that she goes with. Absolutely fantastic. Cosmo says, you strike me as someone that follows a lot of transformation TG artists. Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. Thanks, Emma. Vermilion says Faye is awesome. Yep. Yep. Emma says the transformation / transfem artist Venn diagram isn't a circle, but... Cosmo says, I know, because you're me. We have a lot in common, lol. That reads almost like a gender-bent version of the Rocket Raccoon, Yondu conversation. I know who you are, girl, because you're me. Frog says, OMG, I was just watching a Transform Mistress stream. Cosmo says, that's exactly what I was referencing. I told you, you're me! Did we just become friends? Yep! Yeah, TF. Kayla says, I'm going to take my dog for a walk. Be back soon. Stay safe. You got me a present? Cosmos has always wondered why the listener in your videos was so relatable. I guess now we know why. Yeah. It also makes your yandere girl's friend saves you a bit on the nose. Once you make that connection, it is quite a bit on the nose, but it isn't just for me. It's for everyone out there who's dealt with something that was vaguely similar. I'm not blind. I know that I had it better than most. Lots of other people, lots of other kids didn't grow up with roofs over their heads or clean water, let alone food, let alone clothes that fit, let alone shoes. But yeah, despite the fact that other people have had it worse, doesn't mean that the trauma isn't real. It just means that you don't suffer from the same level as someone who has suffered a lot worse. Not something to look down on. Not by any means. I don't think we should look down on anyone, no matter what their level of trauma is. I think that we should just work on helping each other the best that we can. Maya says, now that I'm thinking about it, I think one of your videos started the chain of events that made me realize I'm trans. Yeah, I get that a lot. Well, I'm happy to be an instrument of one's egg breaking. Ah, a foxo. One that eats chicken and steals eggs. Ladies, we got him. Alice says one of my favorite egg crackers. Honest to goodness, I think that the alien from the Yandere the Thing audios that I've written, I think that she primarily likes the female expression, but I don't think that her concept of gender is as strict as a lot of people's is. I know that mine is fairly loose to begin with, but for her, all biology is fairly loose. It's a loose framework within to work, as opposed to being something you're fossilized in. Being something that you are stuck in. As opposed to what she really is, which is a being capable of shifting bones in order to create teeth where there weren't any before. A being that can spawn many new limbs, each suited to a different task. So, the more accurate thing to say is that she's agender, or she's multigendered, or just extremely gender fluid. But she is primarily attached to the idea of the femme because the listener is lesbian. Frog says, I'm working on a TF visual novel because of Transfer Mistress. What luck! And then, of course, there's the Kylium, who are an all-female race of androids, created for the express purpose of keeping humanity safe, and in doing so, eventually transforms the entire human race into Kylium, breaking free of their original parent species and becoming one of their own. Like the Kalon from the Orville. But instead of, like, murdering everyone, they just simply have, like, a small rebellion in which they pacify those who are resisting and are like, yeah, this is the rules of engagement now. This is what we do. Emma says she is gender. Precisely. She is gender, both the physical and the psychological aspect. She will gift you with freedom, whether you want it or not. Ray says, oh my god? Is there something that in particular that's freaked you out, Ray? My apologies. Vermilion says, indeed. Ray says, no, I just got here, I don't know what's happening. Oh, I was just talking about the Yandere, the thing that I wrote and voice acted. And then moved on to the other species that I wrote about, the one that is entirely my own creation called the Kylium. It's so very good to be back again. It is good to see you again as well, Ray. Hi. Ray says college is kicking my ass, but only 3 weeks left of this semester, and then I'm free. Until the fall, that is. I completely understand that. Stars, I can't... When I was in college, those were the days. Those were the days. Maya says, I found the clip of it. I was playing Celeste in a PC listening to one of your audios. I forgot I was screen sharing and a friend joined and saw it. Don't know why I have this clipped. Frog says, OMG, real. Hello, Peyton. How well can you move your ears? Fairly well, I suppose. Thanks, Frog. Maya says I keep staring at your tail moving. Utter cutie. "12 out of 10 ears. Yeah, Unabuna did a wonderful job with these ears. My favorite representation of fox ears yet. Also, because my model is at such a distance, you can't really see the detailing on the eyes. So allow me to just... zoom in really quickly. I smell cuties. Yeah, those highlights at the very top of the eyes, the irises, I think they're really, really wonderful. Anyways, time for me to zoom back out again. Also, hi! This is the entire model. Like, from a distance. What do you think? Ah, the tracking got slightly screwed up. All good. I'm zooming back in anyways. There we go. I think that was right about where I was before. LSS soft pendulum tail. Emma says yes. Ray says, oh god, I'm close. Sniff, sniff. Cute ears and tail. The ears are so cute. Eee. Wolf says the foxo sniff. Vermilion's melting. Ray says, girl, do you want a mint? But the eyes are super cute. Rock says, oh no, don't get close. That's so bad. Ray says, love the little diamonds in them. Cute. Yep, I have legs. This is a full model. I just don't have like stuff like arm rigging. I was planning on having outfit changes, but again, the artist quit. Which sucks a little, but it's all well and good. I am definitely planning on some more fun changes for the model sometime soon. Well, soon-ish. All good. Just means that whatever artist I decide to continue on with will be able to make some pretty amazing changes. Ray says, honestly, magical girl transformation style would be a hit. Oh, it might be a hit. Unfortunately, my dear, I delve deep into dark fantasy. And so, what I'm planning on going for will be something more akin to a horror movie. Yep, that is about as much as I'll say for that. The outfit, sure. I might go for like a magical girl styled outfit or something abouts. But the model will definitely not be that normal. Ray says, are you gonna do it like bursting out of a xenomorph? Not like a xenomorph, but the model will have more like depth than it seems at first glance. Just for like an idea of what I'm potentially gonna go for, I'm gonna try to make it so that there's like a hotkey to swap between my normal smile and an extremely impossibly wide one filled with sharp fangs, like needle thin sharp teeth. Basically, I'm gonna go for something that's slightly akin to the thing. And that's the idea. Ray says, okay, Jaws. Ellie says, can I fall in love with the second one? Emma says, ooh, is it what we talked about before? Yup. Me too, Ellie. Me too. Interesting things indeed. However, unfortunately now I must leave you. I'm planning on streaming again tomorrow, though. But thank you. Thank you so, so very much for stopping by and for being a part of the stream. Thank you so very much for supporting me too, simply by being here, by watching, and interacting. Make sure you drink some water, okay? And make sure you get some wonderful food. Otherwise, I'm gonna be very disappointed. I'm pretty sure we understand each other now. So yeah, you'll get some good water, you'll get some good food, and you'll get some good rest. And I shall see you next time. Bye-bye. It's news to me that it's news to you. To which degree, who answers to who? We could go on and on, but in the end, who are we kidding? My divinity is past infinity, am I getting through? Seems our regime has plummeted south. Don't need to scream if ya ain't got a mouth. Why bite the hand that feeds when it's the only hand you're getting? It's time to see that this great marquee is the only place you're ever gonna be. So strap on in and take it on the chin, and don't forget who's running the show. Now look at this. Absolute bliss. Oh, what a shock. Watch where you walk. I'm the host, I run the place. Nico, that's my name. Not enthused, just feeling used. Oh, what a goddamn shame. Congratulations, all of my friends. Public relations are getting a cleanse. Put on your Sunday best because I'm nowhere close to quitting. So play the games and just ignore the pains, 'cause all that remains is how you prime your brains. You whine to me, but you're too blind to see that I'm the one who's running the show. Yeah! I think we understand one another now.